What's going to happen with my wife? I love my wife. I don't have charges against my wife.
Possibly. Given the circumstances, that's highly appropriate, but again, I don't know your wife. I was hoping to gain some insight from you.
I was wondering if you can do us a favor. What's that? Take us to the nearest police station. If that doesn't break your heart, I don't know if you're even human. There's so many wrong things with the Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt case. I think one of the biggest things is their sentences not being life behind bars. Here's why I say that. For one, after seeing and hearing all the disturbing details of the abuse that occurred at the hands of Ruby and Jody, but the body cam footage that was just released yesterday made my blood boil all over again. Although most of us know Ruby Franke as the former YouTuber and vlogger, and her business partner, Jody Hildebrandt, who was supposed to be a life coach but was hurting people's lives, was recently sentenced to 1 to 15 years on 4 separate sentences for their crimes, which means it's possible that they can serve a minimum of 4 years. In this new video footage, Ruby's 12-year-old son is seen approaching a neighbor's house, rings the doorbell, and asks for a favor. The favor is to take him and his sister to the nearest police station. Immediately, the neighbor and his wife comes outside, come to the boy's aid, and gives him some water and food. An ambulance shortly arrives on the scene. They are shocked at what they see. When they are describing the boy, they say that he was very frail, malnourished, and looks as if he's been detained in some way. In the footage, the face of the boy was blurred, but you could visibly see the size of his legs, and you could really tell that he had gone weeks without eating. As if things couldn't get any worse, the video footage of the arrest shows Ruby being completely annoyed that she's being arrested. I mean, it's almost as if she was mad that her kids' lives are being saved. She wasn't answering any questions during her interrogation, and she was demanding to see her lawyer before she talks to anyone. The case summary stated the investigation found that religious extremism motivated Miss Franke and Hildebrandt to inflict this abuse. The women appeared to fully believe that the abuse they inflicted was necessary to teach the children how to properly repent for imagined sins and cast the evil spirits out of their bodies. Jody is Mormon, and I obviously can't take what she's doing and throw that onto all LDS Mormons, but from the research that I've done, I found that many go to extremes for punishments to get closer to God. Details also reveal Ruby's journal. Ruby had a timeline of everything being done to her kids. Example, on May 21st of last year, Jody receives a blessing from Temple President Steve Kaplan. On June 30th, she said a child refused to do wall sits. Wall sits, you guys. He says that he's done. On 7/1, she documents his punishment and says that he has to sleep outside. The journals revealed that one of the kids attempted to escape more than once. When you hear the reasons for the punishments, it's because they are unwilling to do things that would cause them harm. When they are interviewed, Kevin specifically, who is Ruby's husband, he says that he actually hasn't seen his kids in over a year. He's unaware of the conditions of his kids. He also says that his job is to just financially provide, and she worries about the kids. Also, when asked what he thinks of Jody Hildebrandt, he says, well, she's an honest, beautiful person. I'm like, what? He is then asked later, what's going to happen to my wife? I love my wife. After police shares details about the physical condition of his kids and what happens, he's more worried about Ruby. Keep in mind, he didn't seem shocked about the condition of them, which is so weird to me. He was more worried about Ruby than the kids. But later on, he does give an interview describing his relationship with Jody, stating that she would try and help his marriage with Ruby by telling him to stay away and he needs to go get cured for his pee addiction. He then describes it as weird. So that's where the relationship with Jody and Ruby brewed up. So she's supposed to be like this marriage counselor and helping these couples. He says that things did take a turn during a dinner when Jody says that she was held hostage for 6 weeks with one of her clients, which I think is a bunch of baloney. But the real question is, how much did Kevin really know as to what's going on with his kids? I don't feel like he should gain custody at all, because any father that is okay with dismissing themselves out of their kids' lives, no questions asked, does not deserve to be a father. And what exactly was Ruby's end game here? Ruby and Jody, how far were they willing to go? And what involvement does Steve Kaplan and Jeremy Jaggi have with Jody's work? What were those meetings about? We need answers. Please stay tuned because I have a lot that's going to be exposed. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel because we need to weed out all of these so-called pioneers and heroes. Thank you guys for watching, and I will be back for more.